Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought we'd do like a follow me step by step kind of a video where I show you guys, well, pretty much what you've seen me before, except maybe I talk a little bit more about it. Maybe you are feeling a bit stuck, have beat block or whatever the case may be. I'm just going to make a simple beat, super simple, just to go through the technical steps with you guys about how I do it. I'm going to be using FL Studio native plugins and VSTs, Slice X. Gonna find a sample, chop it up and make a beat. Also, for those who don't know, I recently put myself on Bandcamp. If you head over there, an EP that I just released a few days ago. It's not new beats, it's my favorite old beats. So it's called Old Times, and yeah, it's free to listen to, but you can feel free to donate if you like. And speaking of EPs, I'm actually working on a new one as well, and both the old one and the new one will be available on all streaming platforms for your convenience. I've always just been on SoundCloud, and just realized that, you know, I need to branch out and put myself on all streaming platforms to make it more accessible for you guys. So yeah, let's head into the studio. Okay, so I just opened a fresh instance of FL Studio. Let's get straight to it. Let's choose a BPM. I'm feeling about 90. First thing that I do is I make a drum track. At first it's very simple. It's not complicated at all. It's pretty much just a kick and a snare. So let's search for some sounds. When you're picking sounds, sound selection is very important. So you don't want like a trappy snare and like a boom bap beat. I'm just going through this sample pack that I picked up from somewhere ages ago. Can't even remember, it's a free one, I got it somewhere, but it's got some pretty good boom bap sounds in there, so I might just pick some sounds out of here first. That's a nice kick. Let's keep it simple. Put the snares in place. I usually turn the swing up about here. Super simple. A trick to give it that more like a swing. If you've got something like this where you've got like a double kick, lower the first one and it will give it more of a dun dun rather than a dun dun. Like, you know what I mean. Less robotic. Dun 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 dun. Control B, place it there. Then on the end, like I usually do, like just something a little bit extra. Nothing too complicated. That's what I start off with. So if you're following along with me, yeah, that's it so far. Don't do any more unless you feel like you want to do some more at the moment. That's all I'm doing at the moment. Kick and snare. Let's keep it super simple. Now is a good time to go ahead and find a sample if you haven't already. Now is the point in time where I open Slice X. First thing I do is I unclick auto dump. If this is checked and you make all your slices, it'll automatically assign it to the piano roll, and for me that's just annoying. I don't like that, so I turn it off and then I can place the chops wherever I like, and I turn the loop on as well. Let's go ahead and pull our sample in. So this one's called Gap Man Gioni, Diana and the Autumn Wind. Apparently Jay Dilla has used this, so let's go ahead and just start chopping up. So my thinking behind this right now is I'm just getting like chops that sound good. When they repeat again, they sound good, but they don't necessarily have to loop like that. That's the good thing about the method that I use, the method that I taught myself, is you can find chops that don't have to loop. They can just sound good on their own, because when you arrange it later, that chop that doesn't loop on its own might sound good next to a chop that does, or just another chop. So it doesn't really matter. The main thing is the drums. If it's got heavy drums in there that you just can't EQ out, it's probably not going to work well with this method. There are ways that you can get around that, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. I've mentioned it briefly in another video. I think it's called the 2 ways that I sample video. You can check that out in my catalog. See how that looped on its own? When it repeated, it looped good. So to save that chop right there, you click this one here with the left mouse click, and then to make sure that it has the end marker, you right click that same button, and now that's your first chop, and the computer will automatically assign that to your MIDI keyboard if you have one, or your computer keyboard. I'm pretty sure the computer keyboard. If you don't have a MIDI keyboard and you don't want to use the computer keyboard, you can just click these in to the piano roll later. So we're all good. Okay, so we've got 15 chops. Now, what I usually do is I just leave them in the original pitch, see if that works first, and if not, play around with the pitch and or the BPM later. So some of those chops sound good in that pitch, but some of them don't, so I'm just going to play around with the pitch. To change the pitch, you use this one here. To get more control over it, you hold control and then drag it around. It'll go individual cents. If you let go of it and just drag it with the mouse, it'll sort of go up in increments of, I don't know, whatever that is, whatever that's doing. A lot of the time I start by pitching it up 200 cents, and then if that doesn't work, 400 cents. Let's try 400. So this is the point where I have more of an idea about where the beat might go after playing around with some chops. At this point, I would either record in the chops that I've played or click them in. I'm going to do a little bit of both. So now that we have one 4-bar variation, I like to get 2 to 3 more variations that connect to each other somehow. They don't necessarily have to, but it's good. It's always good if when they're on the playlist and arranged in a structure that they sort of have some flow to it. So I just clone, and that just creates another instance of it with exactly the same chops, exactly the same pitch, everything. And then I repeat the process until I get some other 4-bar variations that sound similar to the other ones. If you find that when you play it in like that and the chops are slightly off, like you've played it slightly off time, you can click Alt Q and that'll quantize everything, just if it needs it. Okay, so I got my 4-bar variations down. Hopefully it'll be enough. It should be for the sake of this video. Now what I usually do is I just add some more to the drums if I haven't already. And again, for the sake of this video, just going to keep it super simple so you guys can just keep up real easy. What I usually do when I'm adding more drums is I usually pick what is probably going to be the more active part of the beat, like so the hook, and I'll add drums to that section. And then later when you arrange it, you can just take out what you don't need for like the verse section. And again, repeat that same process what we did with the kick before. So I go every other one, I turn it down like that, and it gives it more of a, you know. And if you want to add more space to the hook, you can also select the same ones, go here to note pan, and pan it out each way. And that way the hits sound a lot less robotic. Let's throw in a double here. That's all I'm going to add to the drums for now. If I decide that it needs more later, I can add more later. Usually what I do now is seeing if adding any effects to the 4-bar variations of the samples I have makes it sound any better. I don't use anything fancy, I just use, if it's effects, a lot of the time it's just gross beat, and the rest is just your imagination and creativity. So I'm going to add everything to the mixer now. Highlight everything, Control L, done. I usually by default just stick a EQ on there. That bass kind of makes it sound a bit messy, so I might get rid of that. So we'll go ahead and put gross beat on it and see what any of these presets can do. Even adding something like that can create a little bit of variation in what you already have, and it can give the ear a bit of a break from the repetition that you might have set up already. Subtle changes are often quite impactful upon the listener's ear. sounds quite cool. And then I'll go through and do that experiment round with effects on all of the 4-bar variations. So once that you've put your effects on any loops that you have, it's now time to try and arrange your... To do that, first I make sure that I've put everything in the mixer so that I know what's what. I go up to pattern 1, I right click, split by channel, and that'll give it everything its own thing over here, and you can just drag it into the playlist now and arrange what you would like to arrange. Usually I'll make an intro that's 4 bars long. You don't have to, you can just sort of start it off you can just sort of start a beat off, like go straight into it, drums and everything, or do an intro, it's up to you. Whatever fits your vibe and creativity at the time. I think what I might do is just put like some sort of like filter sweep on an intro or something, and then just jump straight into the hook. Yeah, so those are sounding nice now. Everything sort of flows like that, and then usually what I would do there is change the drums around so they're not, so everything, as you can see here, like it's just repeating a lot of the time, to make sure that like it doesn't feel so repetitive. As you can add breaks, so the beat sort of like drops again, the beat comes in at a different point of the sample loop. You can add more to your drums, less to your drums, at different sections. The options are pretty much up to you. From there, once I had finished all of that, I would pretty much repeat this. If I'm making a simple beat, just repeat that like this, and it sort of just plays again. So I might work on this a little bit off camera. I'm gonna keep it super simple, like I said. So yeah, see you soon. Okay, so I've added everything that I think now, you know, it sounds more like an actual beat. Bit of an intro, got some effects on there. Yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna let you listen to it now and listen for yourself, really. This was just meant to be like a more in-depth, detailed run through on how I make beats. And yeah, again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Head over to Bandcamp and check out my EP that I just dropped over there, which will be on all streaming platforms very soon, and there'll be a brand new EP coming within the next few months as well, so keep an ear out for that. Thanks for watching, thanks again to all my new subscribers, and hope you have a good one. Later.
Rolling blunts by the dozen.